Welcome to 30 Days of Marketing Mavens. 30 days, 30 experts, 30 marketing niches. Brought to you by Profit Master Business Solutions. More leads, more sales, and more revenue for your small or medium-sized business. Click findnewrevenue.com to learn more. Now here's your host, Howard Walpoff.
Welcome back to 30 Days of Marketing Mavens. I'm Howard Walpoff, your host. Again, this is brought to you by Profit Master Business Solutions. And thank you for joining us today. We're going to be having a conversation on SEO and how that affects publishing online. We have Vahe Arabian. He's the founder of State of Digital Publishing, and he's here to really share with us his expertise on SEO and getting your content found. So Vahe, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me on. I appreciate the opportunity.
So why don't you share with us a little bit? You have a vast experience really in SEO, working in many different entities. How did you get started in marketing in general?
It was during university. I was in an internship. I was doing a general admin internship, and there was an opening to get into doing an SEO internship. And it was something fairly new in that company, and I wanted to help expand and help that company. It was a recruitment company, and pretty much from there, I was able to get into it, and I enjoyed it. So I then did another internship for a publisher company. I enjoyed that as well, and then after graduating, went into SEO, working across multiple agencies. Some of them were large, some of them were startups, where I was able to contribute and help develop the team and processes there. And during that process, I found that there's a lot more publishers that were looking for specific help, particularly because they were writing a lot of good journalism and writing a lot of content, but they weren't being found. So gradually over time, and just back to my passion, when I realized when I was working for a publisher that I wanted to get into SEO, I decided that I wanted to eventually specialize SEO and content strategy for publishing. And then that's where State of Digital Publishing was born. Over sort of a few years, I've tried to iterate some ideas, from being a training platform to being a community-only platform, like a product hunt. And over time, from last year or year and a half, I've officially launched State of Digital Publishing as an online publication and providing consulting services for publishers.
And that must be such a rewarding experience to have such a powerful and prominent role for these publishers to really get their content seen and shared by people all over.
No, it is. And I think the key thing that a lot of publishers don't realize is that it's an organization-wide thing. And if everyone does it collectively together, then obviously the gains and impacts are much significant. So it's not just them being with me, like it's being able to help them make that organization-wide changes is very fulfilling and unfortunate to do that. So
let's take a step back a second. Well, I know everyone hears the term SEO. Everyone kind of has their own sense of what SEO means. Why don't you define for us, what is SEO?
SEO, it's the process. Let me take it from this way. So the framework that I use is it's a topic pillar approach. So what that means is that you set up your website so that you have defined topics, and then relating to that, you have various clusters or related topics that help build up that themes of your website. So for me, SEO, in the short definition, is around developing those topic clusters to then allow people to understand what you are about and to help achieve your goals through your topic authority. The longer process of that is setting up your site themes and then having everything internal linked and making sure that people, when they read your content, that they can find everything related to that topic. So.
And that's really the key. The key is being found. People can understand where your information is and how it relates to them, and being connected in search, so that you become somewhat top of mind for people as they're searching those topics.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, how hard is it to be successful with having the right SEO for content on your website?
It depends where you are at. Like with marketing, there's always different life cycles, right? So it depends where you're at. So if you're more in the startup, in the phase where you just have nothing in the online presence, it's going to take some time for you to create a baseline for yourself where you're starting to see your traffic increasing more exponentially, or your content ranking more easily. But if you're more of an established publisher or marketer, then the amount of effort that would be, it's a lot shorter. So it can range from anywhere between, for larger publishers, between 3 to 6 months to small people who are just starting out to be over 12 months, just because you need to have a baseline. What I mean by baseline is have some sort of authority for your website. So having people already linked to it, you're already getting some traffic, and you have some sort of presence online.
So continuity really is key to the success and the faster path for having successful SEO for your website and your content.
It is, and really as well, you can start. You don't have to start. Particularly things that I've seen people make a mistake of is when they're starting out new, they're trying to publish out a lot of content, and then they sort of get fatigued, then they give up. But the key is that you start small, do really good quality pieces, go niche, earn your niche, and then you start expanding a bit more out. And then you keep doing that, taking that approach, and that's when you're going to grow your audience, keep everything very focused, and that's when you're going to see some quicker results. And that's what's going to help your continuity, and not so much trying to publish as much as you can. And obviously you have to promote your content as well. So that's another aspect of it. So you need to make sure that you have time to promote your content.
So this is really, I guess you call it the long game. You shouldn't be expecting fast action for your branding, for your content to be really jumping up the Google charts, so to speak, getting up to the pages.
Unless you have $250,000 in your pocket, then yes, unfortunately.
And that's a whole different conversation about the investment into each of the pieces. But let me go from there. There's a very big difference between just doing a general SEO and then spending money on SEO. So when someone is spending money, what are they gaining from that, and how does that change the timeline that you discussed?
There's two parts. There's the technical aspect, so the consulting. So with a lot of content that's published for publishers, a lot of them don't realize that there are some technical things you need to make sure that your website is not hindering your website, your SEO. So like with the setup of your website, with your optimization and your internal linking and all that other things. And with paid as well, a lot of people are also outsourcing their link building or some sort of aspect that they can't do themselves. So that's what you're getting with an SEO if you're outsourcing to someone else. Having that consultancy to give you help you with the priorities of how you need to fix up the website to make sure that it's technically sound for Google. It's also about helping speed up the process of promoting your content through various link building activities.
So you mentioned it, how optimized it really is for Google, but there's still other search engines out there. So, and I know that people are still using, obviously not the same percentage, Yahoo and Bing. What do you need to do differently with regards to those search engines?
Generally speaking, it's pretty much agnostically the same. Like it's pretty much the same. You just have to be mindful for like Bing that you submit you create with Google, you can submit your website and you sign up to Google Search Console. You do the same thing for Bing. So they have their tool set called Bing Webmaster Tools. And I think Yahoo, I haven't touched Yahoo because they're very minimal, but essentially you have to just find the search engine's webmaster toolkit and try to submit your website there, and then just follow the fundamental practices that SEO is across all those search engines. So.
Right. Well, I know that there's been a lot of changes, and with those search engines, and I guess that they're used get less and less. But it's also good to know that just in case you have someone who has an interest in you and your content, that they are still out there.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, everyone's pretty much copying Google now. So even if you have a look at Bing search results, it's very much mimicking the same. So that's why I say it's very much broad. Like when you do one search engine, it's trickling through to the others. Yeah.
So let me ask you the question I'm asking everyone. What's the number one strategy that's really working well for you and your clients to achieve their marketing goals?
Having a topic cluster framework is really helping. So I practice what I teach, and I also do the same thing for my website and for my clients. And what I've found is by having a topic cluster approach where for bigger publishers, what they do is they maybe choose 3 topic areas and they flesh out a lot of the pillar pages. So they have like a broad page and then they have all the topics relating to them. Having that set up, and then you do 3 across 3 months so that it's not too much skewed across one. And for me as well, like I do a lot of long form content on my website, and being able to do that and able to promote that makes it much more easier, because again, you're niching down on specific topics that you're well known for. And then you can write really good content for. People would naturally link to it, and that helps grow that organic traffic much more quickly. So I've seen a good jump on my website for the past year just by focusing on that, and then I've then passed those learnings onto our online publishing clients.
And it really goes back to the same word, consistency. You really have to be diligent in the writing. You can't just walk away from a thought, a topic, a concept, and give a gap to the pattern that you're doing, but make sure that you're really wrapping your arms around that niche and focus. So that
it is that as well. And then what other people really fall down on as well is that they don't understand. They need to understand the content formats for those searches as well from a user perspective. So the best way to understand that is just do for that topic. When you're doing keyword research, you're identifying that there's this topic that people are searching for. You then check the search results, see what kind of results are actually showing up, and then try to format your content in that similar format. So people might even write, even though they're writing content, they might say, well, why I'm not ranking? Let's say if it's like sorry, Nita, but let's just give an example. If it's a business post, business IDs business IDs post, people might be looking for a list post as well. So making sure that you have the numbers formatted, making sure like when you're writing your list, they have the formatted numbers listed, and all those different things is actually how users are reading the content, and having that formatted in that way is going to make sure that you should come up with the featured results and also rank for your content much more quickly and easily.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said to reverse engineering to get the right ideas, to get the right movements that you're looking for.
Yep, exactly.
So this doesn't simplify SEO. SEO is definitely, there's a lot of complications with understanding it fully. I think there are people who do things very well and have a good understanding. I think everyone else is either mid-range or below in succeeding to get the right everything set up correctly for that type of growth that they're looking for. But if people have any thoughts or questions that they have for you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you to learn more?
Stateofdigitalpublishing.com is our website, and they can always reach out to my name, Vahe, VAHE, at stateofdigitalpublishing.com. But just to come back to your point around complexity and not, there are a lot of online resources out there. There's not to give an advert to us as well, that we have some resources as well, but essentially just understand some of the fundamentals around how you can optimize your website. What are some of the technical things that you can look at to prevent Google from not finding your content? So, and have a checklist for yourself, and then look at ways of promoting your content. And together, those 3 the tenets of SEO, if you understand them broadly, then you can bring an SEO personal specialist who can help you speed that up. And at least when you have that understanding with them, you can then understand the value of what they're doing and whether or not they're actually giving you what you want to achieve. So it isn't that big of although the search results are changing, and that can fluctuate your rankings, but the fundamentals of SEO is the same, and having that embedded in your organization and your learning and understanding is what's going to help your content be visible online. So you can still have that understanding and leave the tactical stuff to someone else who can do it more quickly, I guess.
Well, I definitely appreciate that clarification. I'm sure that everyone listening is appreciative as well, because it's any little bit of help helps in making sure that SEO is working correctly and you're optimized the right way. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you very much for joining us as part of this conversation.
My pleasure, Hal. Thank you again.
And this really is, again, everyone knows that they need SEO. You need to understand SEO, and you need to make sure that it's working properly for everything that you're doing online. So Vahe is a great resource, and definitely find those free resources online as well to take advantage of, to make sure everything is going smoothly. But thank you again for joining us on another 30 Days of Marketing Mavens conversation, and we look forward to having you share more with us. But go out and have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers. See you.